Saquon Barkley and Tank Bigsby will be the best NFL running back duo in 2026. Barkley is a proven superstar, and Bigsby was statistically the most explosive runner in football last year. Trust us, we checked. National and Mannion is building a system designed to feature both of them, keep defenses guessing, and keep Barkley fresh for January. A handful of teams have legitimate cases for being better, but none of them combine this much talent, scheme fit, and versatility in one backfield.
3rd and goal. Bigsby. Touchdown!
Saquon Barkley, biggest play of the game, 44. Tank Bigsby, there he goes. Touchdown, Philadelphia.
Philadelphia spent 2025 barely using half of what it had. In 2026, the Eagles are about to unleash the best running back tandem in football. Tank Bigsby carried the ball only 58 times for Philadelphia last year, but that was enough to reveal one of the most explosive running backs in the NFL. Bigsby turned those touches into 344 yards, averaging 5.9 yards per carry. More importantly, 20.6% of his attempts gained at least 10 yards, the highest explosive carry rate among qualified running backs. That's not ordinary backup production. It's a baller forcing his way into the 2026 game plan. Philly spent the last season using Bigsby when Saquon needed a breather. A few carries, a few short appearances, then back to the sideline before the defense had time to feel what he was doing to them. That changes now. Sean Mannion plans to give Bigsby a legit role instead of using him as Barkley's seat filler, and that will transform the Eagles' run game. Because Bigsby doesn't need to take Barkley's job. He needs to make sure the violence continues when Quadzilla leaves the field. So what happens when the NFL's most explosive complementary runner starts getting 10 or 12 touches instead of 3 or 4? Does Barkley have a January run like Kenneth Walker did for Seattle last year? Because that worked out great for the Hawks. And what happens when Mannion builds an offense designed to disguise which one is about to get the football? The Eagles already have the talent. They just barely used half of it last year. In 2026, that changes, so go ahead and hit the like and subscribe when we explain how Philadelphia is about to unleash both of these beasts on the NFL.
I think the biggest thing we want our offense to look like is playing with great effort, great physicality, being great teammates. Those are the things we really want.
Undoubtedly, Barkley and Bigsby will get labeled as another thunder and lightning backfield. That description sells both of them short. Barkley has the speed to erase pursuit angles and turn one clean crease into 6 points. He also has the lower body power to run through contact, carry defenders, and finish between the tackles. Bigsby can ride through a crowded box, punish tacklers late in the game, and break one off on any given down. Both backs bring the thunder and the lightning. The difference is how Philly can deploy them. Barkley is still the center of the offense. In 2025, he had 317 total touches for 1,413 yards from scrimmage and 9 scores. That's a down year for him, but still proves how much Philadelphia trusts him. It also explains why Bigsby means a larger role. The Eagles won't spend another season asking Barkley to handle every meaningful carry from September through January. They have another monster capable of carrying an offense through the ugly portions of the game now. That becomes especially important when Philly has a fourth quarter lead. Bigsby has the tools to be the closer. Give him the ball against the tired defense, let him run behind Philadelphia's offensive line, grind out first down, punish arm tackles, and drain the clock. Every one of those carries is one Barkley doesn't have to absorb after the game is already under control. But Bigsby's role won't be limited to protecting leads. Defenses can't assume his presence means Philadelphia is settling for 3 yards in a cloud of rubber pellets. His explosive rate says the opposite. He could turn a clock-killing carry into a touchdown before the defense realizes the game has gone from difficult to over. There is no clean division of labor here. The best way to preserve Barkley isn't to get conservative when he leaves the field. It's to replace him with another type of problem. Tank Bigsby doesn't need 250 carries to prove this backfield works. His 20.6% explosive play rate does. In case you don't already know, that seemingly random number means that out of every 5 times Tank carries the football, he gains at least 10 yards. That is insane. And Bigsby did that with limited rhythm, limited volume, and no guarantee another opportunity was coming on the next series. He was asked to enter cold, produce immediately, and return to the sideline before the defense had to adjust. That's about to change. Sean Mannion is going to give Bigsby planned series, early down work, fourth quarter carries, and enough touches to establish a rhythm. The obvious concern is sample size, and 58 carries don't prove Bigsby can maintain 5.9 yards per attempt across an entire season. But they do prove he deserves far more than 3.6 rushing attempts per game. 10 or 12 touches could be enough to keep Barkley fresh. They also force opponents to prep for 2 legit running backs, and that can change games. Bottom line, when Barkley leaves the field, the defense doesn't get a smaller, slower, or less explosive assignment. It gets Tank Bigsby, the second half of the league's most dangerous backfield. But talent is only half the story. Philadelphia spent too much of 2025 operating from the shotgun, where the alignment narrowed the possibilities before the ball was snapped. The defense could read the backfield, anticipate the mesh point, and attack without much hesitation. Mannion wants more under-center offense, more motion, and more play action built to make the run and pass look identical. That matters because hesitation creates space. A linebacker who freezes for half a second on a play action is late filling the cutback lane. A safe few steps forward to account for Barkley leaves room behind him. An edge defender who crashes too aggressively opens the door for Jalen Hurts to keep the ball. Every piece of the offense forces the defense to solve a different problem, and Barkley and Bigsby are the players positioned to punish the wrong answer.
One moment he's handing the ball off, the next moment he's keeping it and running around the edge. One moment he's reading it, the next moment the running back is a lead blocker. All of these things keep the defense guessing.
Mannion's system should also put Barkley back into the passing game more often. During his first 2 seasons in Philadelphia, Barkley only averaged 2.9 targets per game. In New York, he averaged more than 4. That's a significant difference for a player with his ability in space. Barkley shouldn't have to run between the tackles 20 times every week to control a game. Motion him out of the backfield, isolate him against the linebacker, give him the ball on screens and checkdowns where he can attack defenders without absorbing instant contact from a defensive tackle. Bigsby gives Mannion another way to manipulate the defense. He can line up as a single back when Philly wants to play physically. He can enter with Barkley and force the defense to identify which runner is getting the ball. He can handle an entire series while Barkley rests without forcing the Eagles to shrink the playbook. And that's the real key. The personnel around these two make the entire structure harder to defend. Jalen Hurts has to be accounted for as a runner on every option concept. Devontae Smith and the rest of the receiving corps keep defenses from packing the box without consequences. Mannion can answer light fronts with heavier formations, let Philadelphia's offensive line lean on smaller defenders. If the defense adds a linebacker or safety, the Eagles can shift, use play action, and they exploit the matchup they just created. That leaves the defense choosing how it wants to lose. Stay light and Barkley or Bigsby runs downhill. Add size and Hurts attacks through the air. Overcommit to one back, and the other takes the next series against a defense that has already been softened up. The talent was already there. Mannion's job is just to stop hiding half of it. As for being the best duo in the NFL next year, Philly still has to outshine the other elite tandems across the league. Denver's top-ranked O-line puts him in this conversation, but until J.K. Dobbins proves he can stay on the field, he and R.J. Harvey only get an honorable mention here. Right now, the Rams have the strongest argument for the top spot. Kyren Williams has rushed for more than 1,100 yards in 3 straight seasons, and Blake Corum finally gave LA the reliable second back it's been missing. Corum added 746 rushing yards in 2025, while averaging 5.1 yards per carry. Williams and Corum entered the season with a cleaner track record as a pair, but Philadelphia's ceiling is higher. Atlanta is in the conversation too. Bijan Robinson is coming off an all-pro season with 2,298 yards from scrimmage. Brian Robinson gives the Falcons a physical second option who can handle short yardage work and punish defenses between the tackles. That duo has balance. Philadelphia has more volatility. Both Eagles backs can grind through contact, both can create chunk plays, both can stay on the field without announcing exactly what the offense is about to do. Detroit has the biggest individual threat of the group in Jahmyr Gibbs, who's already posted back-to-back seasons with more than 1,800 yards from scrimmage. He is inarguably one of the league's most dangerous players in space. Isaiah Pacheco gives Detroit the downhill runner at loss when David Montgomery left, but the problem is availability. Pacheco's missed 17 games over the last 3 seasons, and Detroit's already indicated that Gibbs will operate as the primary back. That makes the Lions dangerous, but it doesn't guarantee the kind of balanced 2-man attack Philadelphia is getting ready to unleash. Down in New Orleans, Alvin Kamara's recent injury history makes him and Travis Etienne a risky pick as well, so we'll believe that argument when we see it. The sleepers in this story are DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai running behind another top 5 line in Chicago, and they may be the most balanced pair by the end of 2026. We just don't think they have the firepower of B&B in Philly. The Eagles have every ingredient, including an offensive line that somehow is already back on the top 3 after losing Jason Kelce to retirement. That alone is impressive. And now they've got an OC building a system around disguise, movement, under center play action, and a deliberate division of touches. The other contenders have legitimate arguments, and we fully expect to hear about the ones we didn't mention in the comments, but we're betting Sean Mannion's system is going to be the X factor here. Saquon Barkley is still the star of Philadelphia's backfield. Tank Bigsby is the piece that can make it the best in football. If Mannion gives both backs defined roles, the Eagles won't have to choose between explosiveness, power, or keeping Saquon fresh for January. They'll have all 3. So now it's time for you to tell us in the comments which backfield has a better case than Barkley and Bigsby. Let us know and subscribe to Snap Count for more NFL breakdowns without the usual hot take circus, and we'll see you in the next one.